Welcome to the Niagara Live Sessions with your host, Ken B. on BGX Radio.
All right, welcome to another episode of Niagara Live Sessions. I'm your host, Ken B, and today we are thrilled to be hosting a powerhouse in Canadian rock music scene, best known as the lead vocalist for the Headpins. Darby's distinctive voice propels hits like Turn It Loud, securing their place in rock history. Throughout her career, Mills has lent her talents to various projects along the way, starting out with a band called Steelback, and as a teen, and embarked on successful but occasionally stormy music journeys, and she continues to electrify audiences with her dynamic performance even today. So celebrating over 4 decades in the industry, Darby Mills has been a fixture in Canadian music, earning nominations for several awards, including the Junos, and leaving an indelible mark on fans and aspiring musicians alike. So please join us as we dive into her storied career, exploring the persistence and passion behind her lasting success. Please help me in welcoming the amazing Darby Mills.
Hey, Ken. Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you taking time. I know you've been incredibly busy lately, and I love seeing that you're still going strong. You're kind of a bit of an idol to me from my younger years. I just turned 60, so I'm not too much younger than you, but you and actually the band Toronto were one of my first real concerts that I ever went to. So you've always got a little place in my heart all the time. So, but this isn't about me. This is about you. So, so let's go back to where it all started. So as I just mentioned, one of your first experiences with band life was as a backing vocalist for Steelback back in the late 70s. Now, that would have made you around, what, 17 or 18 years old?
No, I was a little bit older than that. And I wasn't actually the backup vocalist. I just only sang one of the 3 sets because I was new to the band, and that's all the songs I had learned at the time. So for the first couple of months I was in the band, I did 1 set, and it gradually grew from there. Yeah.
Okay, so but that was kind of your first dive into the actual music industry, or?
Oh no, no. Although it was still barely a year and a half into my singing career. I left high school 2 weeks after graduation, and strangely enough, I'm repeating what is going on right now in my studio as I'm preparing True Story, which is my new documentary, rockumentary, we're calling it, that I'm hoping to take across Canada in, if not later this year, next year. We have just finished confirming our first date here in my hometown in Vernon to test it all out. Nice. So, yeah, as you say, frantic. I've been in Vancouver. I live in the Okanagan, so I have to drive to Vancouver to do any rehearsing with the band. We just finished having a full run through of the show without any lights, but we have a projector available. So the footage that's going on behind, it's 21 songs throughout a 2-act show. And each song I have, thanks to COVID and being locked in my studio for 2 years, become a video editor. So I've put together 21 videos, custom-made videos for True Story. And so what you've just asked me, I explain in True Story. So nice. Explaining it to you right now is almost redundant, but no, I left home. I joined a band in grade 10, fell in love with the stage, formed my own band called Kashmir, as in Led Zeppelin. And the minute I graduated, I loaded up my trusty AMC Gremlin, which is words from the documentary as well, and headed off to Calgary. So I was in a band in Calgary, then Vancouver, then Calgary, then Vancouver, then Calgary, then Victoria, then Edmonton, then I joined Steelback. So
Wow.
no, Steelback was not the first, but it was the first A circuit band that I
Okay.
managed to join, which I was
Right.
in for all of a year when the Headpins popped
Came
into
about.
my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being part of as you mentioned, an A touring band, um, there must have been, well, first of all, it must have been exciting as hell, but was there something important that you learned through that experience that you kind of still carry with you today? Is there something that left an indelible mark on you that you still take with you today?
In which for Steelback or for the Headpins?
For Steelback, let's say, like when you were just getting into it, I mean, that's a learning process for a lot of people that are trying to get into the music industry, is just, the trials and tribulations of the beginning part. But a lot of people still learn something important that they take with them.
I did. I learned many things. I'm trying to think of some positive ones. um, I did learn that it's a business of it's mine or it's not, it's yours or it's you know what? It's a cutthroat business. I am sorry. Even right in Steelback, when I got the offer to join the Headpins, um, the boys in the band Steelback, even though I was the least paid member and the newest member, they were not happy with me wanting to leave.
Mm.
It became quite nasty, and you leave us, we'll never have you back, and Headpins will drop you as soon as Chilliwack is out of the studio, because
Wow.
Headpins was formed because Chilliwack had lost their deal with Shelley Siegel dying from Mushroom Records, yada yada yada. So no, it was a terrible experience leaving what I thought. I'd been with the band a year, slightly over a year. I thought they were friends, and yet this opportunity came along, and they were not happy with me leaving. They were very unhappy with me leaving, and in my way of thinking at the time, even at 19 years old, it was the opportunity to work with some truly talented individuals. Brian
Right.
McLeod, Mac Furnett had been in the band. He's Loverboy's drummer, and just to be amongst those incredibly talented and achieved individuals, I thought that was a risk I was going to take, and did.
Makes
And boy, did
sense.
I learn.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely not an easy business, and you learn quick. I mean, you don't have much of a choice. It's either you learn to deal with it and get through, or uh, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So it was kind of a wake up call, it sounds like.
Every step of the way has been a wake-up call. You
Right,
never stop learning, or at least I haven't, although I have learned a few things multiple times.
right.
Um, but uh, it's it's called the music business because it is a business, and you have to treat it that way. And um, you know, it's nice to be able to have a family. The project I have right now, the Darby Mills Project, is hope to treat it as much like an external family as possible. I care about my
Right.
guys. I try to help them out if they're in any need. Um, but it's a rough go, and especially in this day and age. It's in the days where I started in the late 70s and early 80s, before the Headpins started touring, we could play 6 days a week in the bar, and we could do 9 bars in Vancouver, 10 bars in Vancouver alone, without having to go on the road to go to tour. You could sleep
Right.
in your own bed and work every day for months. Um, that is not the case
And be able to
anymore.
pay your rent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are shows I'm being offered the same now as I was when I worked in Steelback,
Yeah.
financially for the whole project, right? So it's it,
It's a
as I
shame.
said, during COVID, music and the arts might not be essential, but they're crucial to life. And
Absolutely.
definitely the first people to volunteer to help a fire victim or a flood victim, and usually the last people to get paid, and that's via management, record companies, and everything else. It's if I sound a little bitter, I somewhat am, but I understand, and I've chosen to stay in this business for coming on 48 years now because I love the one thing that there was a song written about the thing you get to do the least is the time on the stage. Jackson Brown said that so eloquently years
Absolutely.
ago.
Yes. I know
So
that one
you
well.
crave that little chunk of gold at the end of the long journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Most people know you, obviously, with your, initially was with your time with the Headpins. So looking back on that time, I would have guessed that your feelings during that time could kind of be summed up with one quote from Charles Dickens' classic, The Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times
Yes.
and it was the worst of times. What's your fondest memory? Because we want to keep things as positive as possible. What's your fondest memories of the time with the Headpins prior to your 1985 departure?
Hearing my voice on the radio for the first time, hearing the Headpins song on the radio the first time,
Yeah.
Breaking Down, I believe it was. Um, Getting to tour with musicians that were huge influences, and I had massive respect for touring with Whitesnake over in Europe. John Lord, Cozy Powell, John Sykes, David Coverdale, Neil Murray were in the. I mean, it was just like they were gods on the stage, and there we were opening every night for them, and the
Mm.
crowd was loving us. Didn't know who we were, but we sold the show. Coming across the country with Kiss, and getting big respect from Gene Simmons, so much so, and I'm taking credit for this. It might be totally off the cuff or a coincidence, but his daughter Sophie's dog on Family Jewels' name was Darby. So what can you say?
Oh, there's a
um,
piece of
you know,
trivia you don't hear every day.
That's right. It's on the show. I'm not lying. It's on the show. They're that kind of stuff. Achieving gold, 4 gold records, two platinum, 1 double platinum. Um, you know, we did for a year that really existed for 4.5 years. We did really, really well,
Right.
and then the shit hit the fan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it tends to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. As nice as roses smell, they die at a certain point. So I totally get it. Now, the second time around, in regards to the Headpins. Now, I believe it was in '94. You gathered everybody together, kind of again, and you tried to rise from the ashes, if you will, and all went well apparently for a period of time, and then around 2015, 2016, when creative differences resulted in your final departure from the band. Am I right so far with that?
Not really. There's a whole bunch in the middle of that you've missed out. But the last show I did with the person who runs the show now was in 2016. Yes, you got that part right. Yeah, Brian McLeod and I parted ways in the last show we did was New Year's Eve, 1985.
Okay.
And then we got back together. I did a solo album the following year over in Europe with MCA Records at Eel Pie, Pete Townsend's studio. Unfortunately, halfway through, the A&R man who had signed me to the label got fired, and I subsequently got dropped, and my record never did come out.
Oh, wow.
So about a year after that, Brian and I ended up partying together, totally by accident, at a friend's house. And we talked for the first time, and I said some things, he said some things, and we said, well, let's try it again. So we reformed the Headpins with a couple new players and went out and toured, did a club tour across Canada in '88. Came home and found that there was a record contract out of the States waiting for us. And in that time, I learned how valuable it was as the only female in a band and the least paid member, because I was the youngest, that is really important to get writing done, to be part of the writing team. And so I requested with this new contract that I had the opportunity to contribute to at least 50% of the new record. And I was told that that was unacceptable, that would not happen. And also that I would be making even less than I was on the first 3 albums. So at the time I was already in the studio recording the Never Look Back album with Warner Music here in Canada. So I was to drop everything and make less money than I had originally. It didn't make any sense. The future for me it didn't look very good. I felt, I was not appreciative of what was coming at me from the new label and the new management. So I turned it down and went and did the Never Look Back album with Warner Music here in Canada. And that's when Brian found the new singer, and then they recorded that album. And of course, both those albums came out at the same time, which was, of course, that's the way the world works, right? No mercy. And that lasted for me 2 years. And that's when I decided to retire. I'd had enough of the music industry. That album is the best work I've ever done, and still to this day. That's when the new Headpins got together, even though I was in the midst of a $500,000 lawsuit with the original manager over the Headpin debt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had mentioned that another interview that you had done, not too long ago, that I saw, and that whole interview, I just kind of shook my head the whole time. It's like, oh my God, this poor woman. I mean, when is she gonna? I just root for you to finally have a break. It just seems like it was one friggin' thing after another, and man. Just wow is about all I can say. So let's listen to some music right now. So what I'm going to do now is play one of your songs from the Headpins, and this is actually from the debut studio album released in 1982 that went double platinum in Canada, and the following year. This is the Headpins, and with the title track, Turn It Loud on BGX Radio.
Come on, turn it up. Turn it up. Come on, turn it. Yeah! This ain't no test to compare with the best. Ain't got no time to be cool with the rest. Just have to scream when the band starts to play. Ain't no tomorrow when you're here today. Turn it up. Turn it loud. Turn it up. Turn it loud. Turn it loud.
All right, once again, that was Turn It Loud on BGX Radio, and we are here with the Queen of Scream, Darby Mills herself. So thank you for sticking around, and we're going to talk a little bit about now that the Headpins have been now in your rearview mirror. The Darby Mills Project was born after that time. And you've taken control of the mic and the message. Can you share a little bit of a pinch me moment from this journey where you just kind of stopped and thought, this is my music, this is my voice, finally?
Oh geez, a pinch me moment.
If there was one.
Well, actually, I've lived in the Okanagan. I moved back home when my husband and I's new business that we had started in 92, 93, which was we called it Custom Coach Cargo, which was a 1-ton long box pickup truck that was divided down the center. The front half had 6 captain seats in it, as well as the driver's seat, the passenger seat. And then the back was all for gear. So you could take your crew and all your gear in one vehicle and a band in another vehicle. So it was perfect. And unfortunately, it burnt to the ground. It burned to the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we lost that, and in losing that and not having the correct amount of insurance, we decided that we would move home to my hometown, Vernon, and raise, at the time, my one son here. We have 2 now. And so all those trips, I would have to go to Vancouver to do rehearsals or shows or whatever. It's a 5-hour drive. I'd listen to my favorite CDs, and one day I threw in Never Look Back, which was finally my released solo CD.
Yeah.
And I was A-Bing it with all my favorite records. And I'm like, you know what? This is good stuff. Warner Music really dropped the ball, in my opinion, not giving this the videos that it needed. At the time, I got 1 video for a song called Cry to Me. In the meantime, I'm competing with other artists that are having 4 and 5 videos per record or
Right.
CD. And how do you compete when MTV and Much Music plays videos and you don't have any? I had 4 singles off the album, but only 1 video. And that's when I went, this deserves to be played. The Headpins didn't want to play the stuff. They didn't think it was right to be playing my stuff at a Headpins show, even though we weren't the Headpins. I mean, McLeod wasn't there, but so I swallowed that for a while, and then eventually I just went, no, I can do more than just sing Turn It Loud. I have more to give. I think I have a voice with more capacity than just screaming.
Absolutely.
And so I started working on it, and eventually it just became such a head bunt with the band that I decided that it was time that I put up or shut up, and left the Headpins and re-released Never Look Back under the title Flying Solo, and started promoting that. And that was the epiphany.
Based on your last answer, you partly, I think, answered my next question, but let's see, if where this goes. So was there a song from either the Headpins or from the Darby Mills Project that you feel didn't really get the spotlight it deserved? Like, is there something a song perhaps that fans should take another listen to?
There were a few songs, quite honestly, but there is a song on Flying Solo, as it's called now, called Monkey, which is an environmental song, and it's got a wonderful video for it, and it would have been nice to get some support from that, but that wasn't actually one of the singles. But there's Hot Water, Bad Bad Boy, Cry to Me was the single. It's got a wonderful video for it as well. You know what? I'm biased. I won't spend all that time on those songs without thinking they were good. So yeah, there you go. There's my answer.
Well, no, that's a good answer. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about press play. Okay, now that's another one of your projects, correct? Like, okay, so and you dive into like 60s, 70s, and I believe a little bit of 80s, some classic stuff. So how does performing covers in press play differ from doing originals? Like, if you could add any song to press play, what would it be, and how would you put your own personal twist on it?
Um, you know what? I've added pretty much every song I want to sing to press play. I have looked on the internet for months and months to find every song that would work with the genre that that band is. I've just been introduced in the last year to a new title or moniker, yacht rock,
Yes.
which some people hate, but I'm like, there it is. That describes what press play is, which are uh, songs that I don't have to scream. They're songs that I can sing in a soft and nurturing voice. The band sits on stools on stage. It's like an orchestra, the old pit orchestra that you used to get with big bands.
Yep.
And yet we go and do songs like Electric Light or ELO and lighthouse songs that are filled with horns, although it's only a three-piece band. But we've got some of the most incredible players. Dennis Marthenko plays bass, and he's just the most incredible bass player. He's played with Katie Lang and Colin James for years, and
Mhm.
and to prove he's a hero of mine, he performed on Johnny Carson twice.
Wow. Wow.
Like, that's a god right there, right?
Oh, for
So
sure.
it's just knowing that as a musician, I have no pension to speak of. So that was the idea. Unfortunately, we started in February of 2019. We got 3 rehearsals in because we all kind of live in different towns. And 2020 hit. It was like,
COVID.
Urge. So
Yeah.
we rehearsed once, twice a month if we were lucky with lockdowns for 2.5 years before we got an opportunity to play. But boy, was it a godsend being able to go in and sit in a room, a tiny little room with these guys, and just play these fabulous, fabulous old Stormy, um, Spooky, just great old tunes where I just get to just sing and not have to worry about, is my voice going to be able to hold out through this? It did, and I relearned how to sing from a whole different area in my throat,
Right.
and it's been a blessing. And I really hope that we get an opportunity to do a lot more work in the future, especially locally, which is what it was set to do, work in the wineries around the Okanagan locally. And they've all shut down because of the freezing ice. It's, it doesn't
It's been a
end.
shit show, right? I mean, um, yeah, actually, I went in and listened to a bunch of the press play videos and stuff that you have on your YouTube channel, and I'm just amazed and blown away by. I mean, in the past, I was always used to the screams and that kind of thing from you, but you've got so much soul with some of the songs. Like I really hear the blues and jazz in you, and I get the suspicion that's kind of where some of your roots are, like in that bluesy, jazzy kind of feel, because it just, to me, it sounds like your voice was made for that.
I don't know where my interest in music came from, other than listening to my dad as a young child sing in his tenor voice. But you know what? Music is music, feel is feel, and
Hmm.
yeah, at I'm 65 now, and I just don't see me in the next 5 years in miniskirts, fishnets, screaming out loud on the stage. You
Right.
know, there's a time when a woman needs to hang it up. I'm not Mick Jagger. Then again, if I was making $1 million a minute, I would find somebody to make sure I looked good in fishnets, and I would go do whatever it took. But that is not the case. Reality sits on my shoulders, and that's my retirement right there.
So, I mean, with press play though, I mean, you're revisiting some huge classic hits. I mean, is there a particular era or artist like from the 50s or 60s, 70s, and 80s that particularly resonates with you? Like you kind of feel their soul through their music that you're now replaying?
You know what? I gravitate when I'm asked these kinds of questions. That when I was 4 and 5 years old, sitting on the couch in my parents' basement, watching Ed Sullivan, Tina Turner, Cher, Sonny and Cher, Bette Midler in her mermaid's outfit, those were artists that I looked at and went, wow, I want to do that. So that's where my roots come from as a baby. And living in a small town, Canada, we had AM radio. I didn't get to listen to Led Zeppelin and those kind of things until I was much older, and I'd moved to Kamloops and met friends and went into their basements and listened to their records. So no, I'm just a believer in a good groove and a fine lyric. That's doesn't matter what genre it is. I like pretty much all.
Cool. And actually, on that positive note, let's play another song. Let's do something from DMP. How about, this is one you had suggested, this is the Darby Mills Project and Free Them on BGX Radio.
Pull down the blinds and take your cover. You feel the spinning in your head. How the tables have turned, still it's not so easy. Holding on for your life, then letting go with no regret. I don't believe the things I'm seeing. How did we ever let it get this far? Somebody spilled the news and we all stepped in it. Now the fix is in, no religion's gonna wash away the scars. Free the sinners, free the saints, free the haves and those who ain't, free the love and free the hate. Oh, when you reach the point, tell me, will ya? Does it break you, or will you stand back up again? Letting go of the fear, it forsakes you. We're all one in the same. Does anyone ever win in the end? Free the sinners, free the saints, free the haves and those who ain't, free the love and free the hate. Free your mind, make your decisions. Stop the line, no one's listening.
Okay, so looking ahead, with all these amazing projects, from rocking stages with the Headpins to steering the Darby Mills Project, and now with Press Play, what's the next big thing your fans should be getting excited about? And I know it's has to do with this video that you've been pushing lately. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's like super awesome.
I think you're talking about True Story. Is that what you're?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, like thanks to COVID, I started editing videos pre-COVID, but once COVID hit and I couldn't rehearse anymore and we couldn't, uh, play anymore, I decided that I would delve a little bit deeper into video editing. And when I originally left the version of the Headpins that I was in, the last version, the whole objective was to come out and do a show that told my story. And we put the Darby Mills Project together, and I couldn't just call it Darby Mills because people thought it was the Headpins. So it had to have project on it so that they knew it wasn't the Headpins. And even to this day, I'm getting messages going, I can't wait to see blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, no, that's the Headpins. It's not me. I, uh, I am not invited to any of those shows. I've been blackballed, but that's why True Story has come together. So what we have put together is 21 videos and 21 songs that visually and verbally and musically walk you through the story of my life and career.
Mhm.
Um, it the first set basically involves songs that I sang in all the different bands that were my favorites that meant something to me, which I have done individual personal videos for each of those songs. And then the second set is more like a concert, which involves more Headpins, more of the originals, and a couple of these new songs that are just hitting the market, if you will, the non-existent market uh, of today. So yeah, it's called a rockumentary because it's a documentary, but it's about rock, but it's also uh, with a live band that's playing in sync with the videos that are on the screen behind. So everything is very much, it's not just an album cover of the band you're playing, like a lot of the tribute acts that are out there now. They
Right.
can just put up an Eagles poster and play the song. These are far more intricate than that. And I'm extremely proud of what I've taken the last 2 years to put together and learn how to do. And it is, yeah, I just yesterday with the snowfall got back 2 days late from Vancouver, and we had our second dress rehearsal, if you will, running through all the videos, making sure they're all in sync and timed, and the next step is to make sure that the lighting is now going to be functioning properly so that it doesn't interfere with the screen. And yeah, just step by step, we're narrowing it down. We've got a date booked now, which is March 22nd here in Vernon. It's not
Yay.
even public yet, but it's official. And yeah, woo, here we go. This is an independent artist in every sense of the word. We're our own promotion team. We're our own band. We're our own videographers. We're doing it all ourselves, and that is how I've decided I'm going to try to get around the fact that as a singer, um, I'm not, I am not, I'm not allowed, welcome, invited to do all the fairs and festivals I once did. That goes to the Headpins.
Yeah.
So for me to stay in the business, I had to find a different avenue to try to continue to work. And so I'm crossing my fingers big time that um, this is something that will work for myself and my band, who I'm so honored and I'm beside myself with how gracious they've been sticking with me through this, because it has been quite an experience, um, being
Yeah.
blackballed, and that's exactly what I believe I have been in this industry in Canada.
Yeah. You know, saying that this project though, I mean, it's weird because we're at the beginning of the interview we're talking about, you know, the olden days, or the older days with the headpins and the trials and tribulations, and then you started talking about this project, and your eyes lit up. This is something you're incredibly proud of. I can tell. I mean, that this is something that you're just bubbling about, and that feeling, you're getting me excited about that. I can't wait for it to come out myself, um, and to see it for what it is, man. And I'm so happy for you that you're finding something that you've been able to put your heart into, and you can say with 100% conviction that this is yours, this is who you are, and it's such a wonderful and beautiful thing to happen, because that almost never happens in the industry anymore. Because the industry doesn't belong to the artists anymore. The industry is completely, in my opinion, it's completely ruled by the listener, and by the head office, so to speak.
Yes.
It's kind of a shame. But I mean, over through all these years also, I mean, you've obviously gained quite a following. You've got your fans and everything over the years. Can you recall, you know, something that was really cool or touching in regards to an encounter with your fans, like something that kind of stuck out, like a fan experience that is really memorable to you? Has there been anything like that?
Oh, well, there are so many,
Yeah.
gifts that come my way, and people reaching out saying that they were in a terrible place and listening to Don't You Know You're Winning. Um, Numerous people have connected with me saying that song got me through a rough time.
Hmm.
Um, and just a lot of women right now, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, the people that have become or are my fans on social media, that hang with me on social media. I've seen what I've been going through, trying to climb out of this hill that I've found myself at the wrong end of, and just saying thank you so much for showing that even at our age we can still fight for something that we believe in, or something that we want to believe in. And it puts a little bit of pressure on you, because there are definitely days that I feel like that's it, I'm done. I can't take another one. If this is the universe telling me this, then I'll take it. But then I go to a rehearsal and I sing, and the truth of the matter is I love to sing.
Hmm.
So why would I let someone else determine whether I can or cannot do that, even though that is the world we live in? There are people telling other people what they can and can't do all the time.
Oh
So it's a
yeah.
fight. There's always a fight. There's always a battle. So what got me through in the very beginning when I first walked in 2016 was, um, there's always going to be a battle. So why don't you make it about a battle that means something to you, instead of fighting a battle that someone else is determining what your battle is? So it's like, yeah, you know what? It's time to fight my fight, and not be along for the ride of someone else's journey. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where
And
I am.
And actually, that's a great segue into the next question. And before we started recording, I had mentioned this little part, and we started discussing it a little bit. But I thought, no, let's keep it for the interview. So here's the question. Through talking to many Canadian artists like myself, both indie as well as seasoned pros like yourself, I always get a similar response to the following question. Now, being a musician or a band in Canada is a tough go for almost anyone, but getting airplay on terrestrial radio like AM or FM radio can be a huge obstacle, especially for the indie and emerging artists, and causes a lot of artists to go south, to go to the US in order for management and stuff down there to get them on the airwaves and that kind of thing. So, knowing that and knowing your experience in the industry, what do you believe that Canada needs to do better in regards to supporting Canadian artists?
I haven't got a clue. Um, you know what? I have numerous friends, or should I say, had numerous friends in the radio business for years. And in the last 5, let's say, years, to be safe, they've all lost their jobs. They're no longer do commercials in their town. The commercials for their town are scouted out. That's not the wrong word, but it's what I'll use.
Yeah,
Now, instead of Kamloops commercials being done in Kamloops, they're done in Kelowna because that's where one of the head offices is. Um, radio, radio is not radio that we knew.
yeah,
There's a list that radio is allowed to play. Um, any radio station owned by a particular group, they follow that list of songs to play. So if you're not on that list, good luck, you ain't getting played.
right.
Um, Headpins had 3 albums out, 6, 7 singles. I'll venture to say you hear Don't It Make You Feel Like Dancing on the radio. I think that's probably the only Headpin song you play. So it's just this continuous rotation of the same, the same, the same, with the
Yeah,
billions of songs that exist out there. Um, you wonder why radio is losing its luster, or even its listener for that matter.
for sure.
You can dial in your own station, you can dial in, it's like everything else. The radio gods, video not only killed the radio star, um, downloading and streaming killed radio. So getting on radio these days is not, I don't think, what you want to do, because it's
Right.
virtually impossible unless your label buys you on. And yes, it's payola and it still exists. And that's just the way the business works. You need to figure out how do you work YouTube. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Social media.
you need to pull all your stuff, off all the streaming services. To hell with them. And you know what? Make your own. Make, I don't have the answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't honestly know. I just know that it's not working for the vast majority
Yeah.
of musicians and artists out there. It's working really well for that top 2%.
Right.
Um, but for the rest, it's in my opinion, and I don't know anything about it. I just know that I don't know anything about it. That's what I know.
Right.
So
Right.
good luck is what I say.
You just know it hasn't worked very well in the past for you, and for a lot of artists too. I mean, it's not just yourself. I'm sure and from the people I've talked to, the frustration is mutual, I think, across the industry. Um, but that being said, let's do another one of the Darby Mills Project songs. And this is another one that you had requested. Tell us a little bit about Trick of the Light. What's the song about, and how did it come to be?
Trick of the Light was actually an invitation to join a compilation album from Europe. And it's on Escape Music. It doesn't belong to me. I simply sang on the track. And because I was stuck in my basement doing video editing, I did my own video for the song as well. So Trick of the Light, love song, a wonderful love, not hate song, but broken heart song, played by some talented players. And yeah, it was just an opportunity to work in a different country. Headpins at when we first started out, when we did the tour with Whitesnake, we did really well over there. We just never went back because the band broke up, and
Right.
in trying to get back together and stuff, we just never spent the money to get back over to Europe. So it was wonderful to reintroduce myself to that market. And you know what? I think the song's a fabulous song. I think the video's wonderful. And there it sits on somebody's label, you know, streaming away.
And with that, this is the Darby Mills Project and Trick of the Light on Niagara Live Sessions on BGX Radio.
What you didn't know doesn't hurt you until there's no one to turn to. In the bitter end, did you win again? Did you win again? And I'm broken like the pieces of my heart. Oh, here I am. You're a candle in the dark. Somebody somewhere's calling your name. Trick of the light drives me insane. Chasing your shadow out in the rain when the love has gone away. It's a long wait till tomorrow. Such a hard act to follow. Were you with him then? Is it love again?
Is it love again?
And I'm broken, 'cause you tore my world apart. Ooh, here I am, throwing daggers at the stars. Yeah, somebody somewhere's calling your name. Trick of the light just drives me insane. Chasing your shadow out in the rain when the love has gone away. Somebody somewhere's calling your name. Trick of the light just drives me insane. Chasing your shadow out in the rain when the love has gone. Somebody somewhere's calling your name. Trick of the light drives me insane. Chasing your shadow out in the rain when the love has gone away.
All right, welcome back once again to BGX Radio Niagara Live Sessions. Once again, we are here with the incomparable Darby Mills We're having great conversation, pretty deep, and yeah, we're just having a good old time here. So let's talk about some of your inspirational icons. So who were your music icons when you first started, and how have they influenced your performance, if any, and music style in both the Headpins and the Darby Mills Project?
I think I mentioned already as a
Mhm.
young child, it was Bet, Tina, and Janice, um, 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 and whoever else came along, Ed Sullivan at the time. But as I got older, it was started to listen to Led Zeppelin and a little bit of Deep Purple, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was top 40 radio and in cover bands playing the clubs, and whatever song was the number one song of the day. And at that point, bang, I was in the Headpins, and all of a sudden it was like, you have to, Headpin songs, that's it. That's what you know, that's what you do. And so I kind of got wedged into a, a small, um, hmm, whatever you would call it.
Like a
And it
niche.
wasn't for years that I came outside and started listening to older records again. And my kids, now that I've got 30-year-old children, through their teen years, introduced me to a few rap artists and some crazy stuff that I actually quite enjoyed, surprisingly enough. So, uh, yeah,
That was
all
actually
over the
kind
place.
of my next question. Is there any newer stuff that you enjoy that most people would say, "Geez, I couldn't see you listening to that," but
Yeah, probably. Katy Perry's second and third album, I was totally enamored with. I just thought it was fantastic.
yeah,
Lady Gaga's first, second, and probably third albums, I was totally enamored with just how
she's got an
incredible.
amazing voice.
Yeah, and just talented player, and just had a real control with dance and all of the above, right?
Mhm.
Um, and besides that, oh man. Uh, I I I kind of stopped after the kids moved out. I kind of stopped listening to new stuff, and would throw on what I needed to learn and what I needed to make sure I had stuck in my head for rehearsal. So I kind of blocked myself off from much new stuff. Although there is some great stuff coming
Yeah.
in and going out, and yeah.
Frankly, I mean, just I know my listeners already know this, but I myself, I mean, I'm a hard rock and metal guy myself, generally speaking, but I'm quietly a closet Swiftie. Um, Um, no, I think she's pretty amazing, and especially, taking back her career from her old producer. But
Well, you know what happened with that though. I mean, she went and did that, which was fabulous, and re-released all her own stuff. But do you understand that from what I've heard, the labels all took note and put in your new contract that you weren't allowed to do that.
yeah,
So she basically, in doing that, screwed it for the rest of us.
but hey, I guess she was a pioneer in that. She's a brilliant businesswoman. I mean, she really is. Um, but yeah, the world to her. But now, you probably didn't realize I was going to go here, but I'm going to go here. Now, besides your normal band merch that people can get on the Darby Mills website, um, like T-shirts, posters, CDs, and even coloring books, right? Even coloring books. Uh,
Jewelry.
you also have a passion that many fans may not know about, and that has to do with handmade jewelry.
Yeah.
Tell me about that because I went to that page. I was totally blown away. I thought, okay, she's ordering it from China or whatever, but no, you make all of this stuff.
That was just another outlet to, I kind of started doing that when I was still with the last version of the Headpins that I was with, and
Okay.
was so frustrated that I wasn't being able to create or invent or just be if you're a creative soul and you're not creating, you're stagnating, and it affects your life, in my opinion, massively. So my mom had passed away, and I'd received a whole bunch of boxes of things that belonged to me in mom and dad's home when we moved them into a smaller place. And I opened up a black velvet chocolate box that was filled of rocks that I had collected as a child at my parents' cabin. And I made a necklace out of one of them, and it was really pretty, in my opinion. And some of my girlfriends went, "Oh, I love that. Will you make one for me?" So I did. And about 8 necklaces later, I went, you know what, this is crazy. I can just make more. So I'm over 500 necklaces sold at this point in time.
Wow.
And again, it's been, I nicknamed it my late night passion at one point, because I would stay up until 2 and 3 in the morning just creating and making and gluing and shaping and molding. And it just like video editing has kept me from jumping,
Mm,
because if you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs and you're just going nowhere, it's not healthy.
sure.
And yeah, so love it. I have stock up the wazoo at this point in time. I'd love to get back to it, but unfortunately, true story, has taken up all my time for the last about 12, 14 months. And eventually I hope to get back at it, or I got to sell all this stuff, because yeah, it's
Nice,
time.
nice. Um, yeah, and by the way, that there still are a few jewelry pieces from what I saw that are still available. So people, check out the website, check out what she's got left. Um, buy that stuff up. I mean, seriously, buy that stuff up. So, I mean, with such a rich career, music career, what advice would you give upcoming female rockers, besides not getting into the industry, but um, female rockers who look up to you and are inspired by what you do? And what advice would you give them in today's day and age?
Learn how to play an instrument,
Okay.
learn how to write music or write songs, and be fearless. Don't take no for an answer. Move on and just keep going. And because they're looking for you to back away. They're going to tell you no, just because if you come in too strong, then they don't run the show. So,
Hmm.
fail, try and fail, try and fail, try and fail. And I mean, that's just a life lesson, right? All the way around. But the music industry is absolutely no different. Just keep going.
Keep pedaling. Absolutely. That's sound advice. It really is. And you've got the knowledge and experience to give such great advice for young people. What I've noticed, and one of the things, I mean, that for everything that's wrong with the industry right now, there is some bright spots, at least that I can see. Back 20 or 30 years ago, making a demo, as an example, was a matter of finding studio time, coming up with the money, getting an engineer, getting a band together, and that kind of thing. But in today's day and age, you can download free software, free DAWs, hook up a MIDI keyboard and a drum machine, and you could be producing your own music and putting it out to the world on your own. And that's giving young people, young creative people, an opportunity to actually get their music out there, even when they're not rich, and having and have unlimited, or at least a good amount of financial resources to do so. So in that respect, I think technology has helped to allow pretty much anybody who wants to create an opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. And you'll find the musicians that have taken 45 years to learn their craft don't appreciate that very much. And I get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it, because being a singer that's spit up blood on numerous nights and sang sick and unhealthy and gone through the rigs of touring to get the job done, when you can have a machine make your voice sound in key and give it whatever sound you want it, it's a little discouraging
Right.
to see it that way. But it's the world we live in.
Mhm.
It's AI, baby. And you know what? There's no stopping it. It's here. It's
Yeah.
coming at us. Uh, Grab what you can. And I'm just kind of glad I'm on the downslide of my career, because it's a scary concept that you don't have to have any talent. You just have to have the will. Um, and that's not even a correct saying. The instruments can do it all for you now, I guess, is the
To,
hardship
to
for
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
those who
agree
have
with you to
spent
a certain
so
degree.
much time getting good at their craft.
Right, right. But I mean, I'm talking kind of specifically. Let's say somebody who's has a great natural voice, but doesn't have a band or doesn't have the musicians to back him or her up. Um,
It's called
they can sit down
karaoke.
at a piano and put together a bass line and the drums and then actually sing over it. And I don't know. I guess it just depends on the direction the direction you're looking at it from. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just, I just, at least through my eyes, I see it as an opportunity. But as with any opportunity, it can be abused also and used incorrectly. And I think that's a very poignant point that know know what you're doing with it and be honest with yourself when you're using it. You know, so I totally agree with you. But what we're going to do, we're closing in on the end here. And it's been such an honor and so awesome to talk to you. You're so down to earth. You're so easy to talk to, and I just love that. And trust me, not everybody I talk to is like that. So I'm not just giving you lip service. It's actually really true. Um, but what I always like to do at the very end of these interviews is something. It's a BGX Radio's rapid fire questions. So what I have about 10 questions here, and they're basically 1 or 2 word answers. And they're meant to be, kind of fun and, maybe a little bit funny depending on the question, but they're just a little bit of fun. And are you ready for these? I hope you're ready. Um, these should be a lot of fun. So let's check these out. So rapid fire questions, BGX Radio. Question number 1, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee? Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Neither.
Neither. Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs, okay. Um, uh, Beach vacation or mountain retreat?
I'll take one of each.
Oh, there we go. Um, Book or movie?
Movie.
Okay. Call or text?
Oh, call.
Okay. Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Uh, Crocs, yes or no?
Indifferent.
Indifferent?
Indifferent.
Okay. Online shopping or in-store shopping?
In store.
Okay. And the final one, TV shows or documentaries?
all of the above.
All of the above. Okay. Oh my God. I wasn't expecting half of those answers. Because I have it in the back of my mind how each person's going to answer just based on their personality. You totally screwed me up. So, so that's all good. So my question is there, in closing, because we're going to play the last song, we're going to send everybody off with one last tune, but is there anything you wanted to say? Is there any other message or something that you want to tell, whether it's my listeners or your fans or both?
Oh man.
We got lots of time.
I did do something well beyond my not acceptance, but I stuck my neck out in November and I came to Niagara Falls actually, and I did something I never thought I would do, but I kind of got dared, if you will, into doing it.
Mhm.
And I did it, and I did awesome, and it ended up not working out for me. And I'm not allowed to even tell you that I've done it. That's why I'm being cryptic here, because I've signed a you can't tell anybody document.
Oh,
It's not a DNA, NR, whatever, what are those called? I can't
a
remember what they're
DNR.
called. DNR there. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. But you know what? I
Or
did it.
NDA.
NDA, that's the one. And I was scared to death about doing this and having it turn out poorly. And I did it, and it turned out better than I could ever have hoped. And it still didn't work. And I'm still here, and I'm still giving it. So I guess in closing, just, you know, you got to put it out there. You got to try. It's that keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. And or the old saying, throw the spaghetti on the wall and find out what sticks. And so that is the phase of life that I'm in right now. And just good luck to everybody who's got the will and the determination to keep trying, even when you're told no. So go get her.
Absolutely, that's a great way to end. Once again, Darby, thank you so much for giving BGX Radio the time to do this. This was so much fun, and we learned so much. And I realized how much I don't know about you, but that gives me an opportunity to look a little bit deeper and get to know one of my rock idols. So thank you again, once again. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be back again, as always, next week, hopefully with another show. So we got some great artists coming up in the next couple months. So keep an eye on bgxradio.ca and check it out and see who is coming up in the near future. But to finish everything off, we could not have Darby Mills on the show without ending the show with probably her most popular song ever. So this is from the Headpins Turn It Loud album. This is Don't It Make You Feel on BGX Radio. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next week. Rock on.
You can.